Hi, my name is Mindy Horde. I live in Washington, Texas. I've been an independent team Beachbody coach since February 15th, 2012. The day that I signed up, I didn't even recognize that this was a business opportunity. I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. It was just something that just fell in my lap. I couldn't find any other reasons to say no. I had no earthly idea how much it would change my whole personality, my whole life, the dynamics of my family, and the path that my future is on. In fact, had my coach Becky said, "Congratulations, Mindy, I'm so happy you became a coach. You are never going to believe where your life is going to be in 21 days. You are going to build a business, 200 plus coaches strong. You'll be able to leave behind this job that you hate in this industry you've been working in for over 10 years just because you didn't have anything else you could do that you thought you could achieve at. You're going to be able to be with your family more, set your own hours, and be your own boss. And on top of that, you're going to, in 2013, as an elite coach, being one of the top 100 coaches out of a huge organization." I would have laughed at her. I would have been like, "You are loony, lady. You're crazy." Why? Because I didn't believe in myself. I'd never set a goal a day in my life. I was broken. I had tons of things to be happy about and thankful about, but I just wasn't happy. I didn't feel satisfied or fulfilled at the end of the day. I just knew that my life wasn't really what I wanted to be, but again, I didn't really know what I wanted it to be. And this is how I live my life day in and day out. So, who I am now didn't just happen overnight. A lot of people think that there's some secret formula. Oh, they had money. Oh, they grew up, with successful parents. Oh, they grew up, with parents who own business. They know how to do this. Oh, they're good looking. They're have had a good childhood. They've had a bad childhood. All these people come up with all these excuses in their head why, somebody else can do it and they can't. But the fact is, you can do it. So I'm going to share with you some tips of how I have built my business and my organization and my team to be able to fulfill some of my major goals for 2013. Things that I would have never even thought were possible 21 months ago. Throughout 21 months of being a coach, I've connected with hundreds of other coaches within our organization. I've spent a lot of time talking and discussing with my own personally sponsored coaches where they were struggling in. So I've decided that, now that I'm home, I'm going to start making some videos just sharing what I do and, covering some topics that people seem to ask me about a lot. I'm not an expert. Like I said, I've only been a coach 21 months. So there's other coaches who have been out there longer who may have better answers or different approaches. And again, at the end of the day, this is your business. I'm just providing some tips to be able to answer some questions that I am constantly getting from other people because I found that sometimes people are doing what they need to be doing, but there's just like this missing link that they haven't been implementing in how they approach people, how they run their business, how they connect with their team. That might be monumental to the growth and the success and the longevity of their business. So I'm always happy to share with it because I hope that, maybe one little thing that I say will give you a shred of hope and a way to change it up so that you build confidence and you can reach your goals too. So one thing is that I just want to say that a big part of being a leader is, doing the personal development, which you should be doing if you've embraced the 3 vital behaviors. So today's topic is going to be one thing that I hear a lot from coaches. It's like, well, now that I'm a coach and now that I've signed coaches, what do I do now? How do you get people to work the business? How do you grow a business? How do you build, something that creates income so that you can reach your goals of, paying off debt or leaving your restrictive full-time job so I'm home, with my family. So I will kind of explain what I've done, how I've changed it, and what I do now throughout this process. So maybe, you can try it because it's all about trying different things. Just because what you're doing now doesn't work doesn't mean that you can't end up where I'm at or reach your goals. You just have to try different things. I've found that so many people try approaches that doesn't work and they keep doing it and they're wasting time and then they just completely give up. So in the beginning when I became a coach, it was pretty easy because I didn't have a lot of coaches on my team and I was learning at the same time. So I was able to just learn and then share at the same time. And I was only sharing with a few people. It's gotten a little tricky as time's gone on when I had more customers and more coaches to, help on top of my daily duties of being a wife and a mom and working full time. Um, but one thing that I've learned is that there's more training available to you now than there was when I first signed up or when my coach Becky signed up 2 years before me. So here's the thing is a lot of people want to blame their upline or want to blame other circumstances for their lack of success. The thing is, I had to do a lot of my research, and so did my coach and many other coaches who, were founding coaches or been coaches for 4 or 5 years. So you cannot rely 100% on your success from what your upline does. The thing is, at the end of the day, this is your business. You can run it the way you want. You're responsible for it. I'm not your boss. Your sponsor is not your boss. We're here to provide support and help and do as much as we can, but you cannot blame somebody else for your lack of success. So just keep that in mind because I hear that all the time. My coach was pretty awesome because she's always been there for me. She's always checked up on me. She's always supported me. She's always congratulated me on any success, but she never held my hand. She learned to be a leader, but not somebody who drug me along. And this is very important because I basically have become successful because I've duplicated what she does. I've thrown in a little more personal flair because I can't do exactly what she does because she has a different personality and she has a different audience. So, but I've taken her lead and duplicated as much as I can and used what worked and embraced what worked. And then, some of the things that maybe didn't work for me, I've, kind of cast aside. She was awesome because she never made it where I was completely dependent on her. She taught me to learn how to be independent and taught me how to find the answers. I found that a lot of people will have the same amount of information available to them, but they don't want to take the time to look for it themselves. They find it easier to ask somebody else. That is very, very, that will hurt somebody because if you just give somebody the answer, how are they going to learn? How are they going to learn how to find it? How are they going to learn to think independently? How are they going to learn to share with other people how to get the answer too? So that's one thing that I do is kind of what my coach says. If you ask me a question, I'm going to ask you a question back, and I'm going to show you how to get to the answer, not just what the answer is. Not because I'm trying to be mean to you, not because I don't like you, but because it's teaching you something. It's teaching you how to think independently. Because again, this business is yours. So it's something that you're responsible for. So this is one thing that you need to implement with your team is that you just don't give the answers to them and do everything for them. You help them and guide them, but you're not doing the work for them because people will become dependent on you. And then when you do grow a larger organization, what are you going to do now? So I give steps for, how to find something. A lot of people ask questions about Shakeology. Simple answer. Like, well, if you go to Shakeology.com, you can type in under the frequent asked questions. You can ask that. There's things that, coaches have questions about that are outside of, our control or our knowledge. So it's like you need to ask Coach Relations. So that is something that is really big, is not letting your team become too dependent on you because they're not going to know how to function, and then you may be able to help them get to emerald or diamond, but you're not doing them any favors so that they can grow a working team and duplicate. So that's something you need to remember. In the beginning, I was always too, very afraid of telling people what to do, and I always, projected, an excuse for them already, saying like, I know you're busy. If you have time, do the Coach Training Academy, do this, do that, and I know you don't have any time, and it's really hard. Well, then they wouldn't do it. But then, so now I've decided to do a system on training. I have, videos in my YouTube library of steps that coaches need to take. So this is what I tell them, you need to go in and do this, this, and this, and this. And one of the first things they need to do is the Coach Training Academy. I don't ask them if they'll do it. I'll say, you need to do this. This is how you do it. And then I found that all of my new coaches have done it. So this is the same thing as when you're dealing with customers. You are definitely projecting and promoting the objections if you're already giving them the out. So Just like a child, you hear it all the time if you're a parent. Children crave routine. They need to have rules. They need to have something to go by. Same thing as coaches. These coaches are new. They don't know what to do. So that you have to provide them information. You have to show them how to do it. Then you have to slowly watch them do it and guide them while they're doing it to make sure they're doing it well. Then you can set them free. So number one, set rules. Set things that you need them to do. Give them a deadline to have it done by. But on top of that, you have to slow down and not overwhelm them. Before, in the beginning, I'd send this long email of, welcome, blah, blah, blah. I want you to do this, this, and this, and this, like 4 or 5 different things with this long, email on how to access the back office, how to do the coach online, training academy. And I found too that not everybody learns or responds the same way I do. Some people don't like to read. Some people get overwhelmed when they see that. So I've learned to do something different. I, myself, have started making videos that are not really long, but that tell them in the beginning of what they need to do when they're first starting. That way, number one, they see my face. They connect with the person that they trusted in this journey. Then they can get information of what I want them to do instead of staring at this long email thinking, oh my gosh, she wants me to do what? And sitting there having a mild anxiety attack. So be clear and concise of what you need to be done, but also don't bombard them and overwhelm them with a lot of information. Realize that they like to see your face. A lot of us coaches do things through social media. We connect with people who don't live in our area, who we may not know well. Over 50% of my coaches are people that I've connected with over Facebook that I haven't even met and that were strangers to me. So they would like to see my face more. So I've learned to do that. And then I just give small things that they need to do one step at a time. So don't be afraid to take the lead. Don't be afraid to set things that you need them to be done. Because if not, people aren't going to know what to do. I mean, you think about anything you learn. If you started a new job and somebody said, okay, here you go, blah, 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 and did, this bombard you with all this information of how to do their job, then they walk out. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to sit there and be like, oh my God, I don't even know what they just said. I don't think I'm going to do this. And then they may just walk out. So you have to realize that taking time, slowing down, explaining, and helping it, and also understanding that everybody learns differently, is a big thing that you have to, readjust. If somebody's struggling, if you sign a coach and you do whatever system you're doing on helping them start and you don't get any response, that doesn't mean that they don't care. That doesn't mean that they're not going to do an awesome job. It just may mean that you need to take a different approach and see what works for them. Maybe they are not, computer literate. Maybe they're having issues and they don't own a computer. Maybe, maybe a lot of things. So just take time. Another thing about finding working coaches and a team that wants to work is, I have found that so many people sign coaches, and these are a lot of times customers have been drinking Shakeology and using the Beachbody products for months or maybe over a year, and they sign them on the pretense of okay, you should be basically not be paying full retail on your Shakeology and all the programs you keep buying, so sign up so you can get the discount. Well, then I've found that a lot of coaches, once they've signed someone as a discount coach, they just completely write them off. They just say, okay, they're always going to be a discount coach. They never check up with them. They don't provide the same amount of encouragement, leadership, and, don't set a clear path for them. And to me, that's really a disservice to them because I'll give you an example. 2 of my coaches who are my, diamonds, Sam and Melissa, who have been rock stars from day one. They were adamant in the beginning that don't think that I'm going to sell any of this. I don't want to do this. I'm only doing it for the discount. And Sam actually said, I don't really know if I'm going to do this, for long term. I'm just doing this right now because you said I can cancel. I may return all the stuff in, 30 days. So I was like, okay. So I immediately, sent her the email of like, here's the Coach Online Training Academy. You really should do it so you at least see the benefits. This is, something that's really going to change your life. She laughed at me. Like we always talk about it. She thought I was crazy. But you know what? She did the Coach Online Training Academy, even after having lots of issues I don't know, I was never having before, but like her computer was like rejecting the Coach Online Training Academy. She had to do it from, I think, her laptop, a different laptop or something. I don't remember. I just remember there was like a huge issue. She still did it. And now she's a diamond. She has helped tons of people, had a great weight loss transformation, over 60 pounds. Her and I have become, very, very close friends. We run our fit club together, and she's just flourished as a person. So my thing is, think that if I had have just said, oh, Sam just wants to be a discount coach. She, may or may not do this, so I'm gonna move on to somebody else. How would I have even helped her? I mean, where would I be at now? Where would she be at? Where would all the people that she's helped be at? So the thing is, just because somebody says they're a discount coach doesn't mean anything. Same thing goes with my childhood friend Melissa, who was, is also one of my diamonds. She said the same thing. I'm just gonna try this, Greenberry Shakeology out because you say it's good. I don't know. I'm trying to save money because we're on a budget. We're on a single income because I just had a baby, whatever. So I said her the same thing. You should do the Coach Training Academy. She did it immediately. Well, she is a rock star coach too. She is the 250th coach out of all the 140,000 coaches in the organization. So where would I have been? Where would she be if I had have just written her off? So my thing is, don't make that mistake. You have to respect people's wishes. If they say, I don't want to run this as a business, I just want to be a discount coach. But the thing is, at least provide them with the same training instructions as you would anybody else. So at least they know it's out there. At least they know. And then even if somebody says adamantly, okay, you sent me this stuff, but I don't want to do this. I still don't want to do this. Well, that's fine. Again, don't write them off forever. Keep checking back with them later on because things change. If you've went to any of the meetings, the seminars or the trainings at Summit or Success Club trips or leadership, you'll hear that a lot of the top coaches started off as discount customers or who didn't work the business for a long time. So don't close off somebody that could be a rock star. And another thing is, there's a lot of people too that I hear who sign up as coaches or customers in the beginning. They have all these goals. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And they're like gung-ho. And, then you're like, oh my God, you come home and tell your husband, oh my God, I'm so excited. Bob and, Sue both signed up. And they said that they want to go for elite and they're going to do this. And they've got all these plans of what they're going to do. And then next thing you know, these people bomb out. You don't hear from them. They don't post in your coach group. They don't respond to your calls. But then in your mind, you're thinking these people were supposed to be rock stars. They had all this vision. They knew what they were going to do. And so then you spend so much time working on these people because you saw this vision for them and you knew that they saw it. And then you expend so much energy on these people who don't want to do it. So just make sure that you kind of have a balance, that you don't exert too much energy pushing and pulling these people who, for whatever reason, aren't ready. And don't abandon the people who set their goals really low in the beginning. Find a balance. Another big thing about creating a team I found is, Hillary Kelly said this, if I don't show up, my people don't show up. So that's another thing is if you have a habit of being inconsistent, you post in your coach group, you post in your challenge group, and then you go away for a couple days. Then you come back saying, oh, I had this and this and this happen. I'm here for you guys, and then you disappear. Well, people follow you. People signed up under you because they follow you. They're going to follow your lead. Remember, you're the leader in this. You're the one who's been doing this longer. You're the one who's helping them set goals. If you're not doing it, they're not going to do it. So this is the thing, is you have to be consistent. You have to show that you're a leader. You have to provide something that somebody can duplicate. So if you're not doing these things, because I hear all the time, well, my team's not doing anything, but he's responding. The thing is, are you doing what you should be doing? Are you doing something that can be duplicated? Are you sharing with them what you're doing? Another thing that I found, and I've told lots of people outside of my organization and in my team, as far as this, is that make sure you're giving individual attention to people, because a lot of people, if they're struggling and you have them in a group or you have them on a weekly team call or a monthly team call, and you ask if anybody's struggling, a lot of people aren't going to say anything because they don't want to look stupid. They, and I've also found too that a lot of people aren't going to reach out to you either if they think you're super busy because they don't want to bother you. I get messages all the time. I know you're busy. I'm sorry for bothering you, which people aren't. I do what I can and help them out when I can, and so I don't really feel like I'm being bothered. But so the thing is, sometimes you have to reach out to them and ask them. So I've started doing, like let's do, even when I was still working, let's do little power calls, 15 to 20-minute calls where we could talk. Now that I'm home, I'm doing one-on-ones with people so we can talk. Because if you go to them, they're more likely maybe to open up to you on a private message or a private email or through text message or a phone call than in a group message or on a call, or just reach out to you on their own. So these are just things that I feel that, to get your team working, you should do. Another thing is I do incentives. I mean, everybody has a little competitive spirit in them. I used to think that I wasn't competitive, and now that I'm a coach and have something that I like to do, I'm like, I'm super competitive. I mean, not like nasty, but like I am competitive. So people like that. People like to win. People like recognition. So sometimes doing, some sort of bonus or a contest between all of your coaches. I've done things that, if you reach Success Club 5, first one, you'll get, $25. If you're the first one to get diamond on a diamond group that we're doing, you'll get $100. Certain things like that. Free t-shirt, one of my team t-shirts. You can use your own, judgment on that, but those are things that kind of get people going and give some incentives. One thing that I found is, like I said, is just giving training. Talk to your team. Talk to people outside of your team. Find out where they're struggling, and then host a call for your team on that subject. Do a video on that subject. Post something about that, struggle in your group on that subject. If you're finding that one thing doesn't work with one person, try a different approach. And then another thing is, on top of this, is no matter how long you've been a coach, no matter if you're the leader of the team, never be afraid to ask for help. That's one thing that I learned about is hearing from our leaders, some of the founding coaches, some of the 15-star diamond coaches, some of the elite coaches at all these events I've been to, is none of them are afraid to ask for help from a fellow coach, from somebody at corporate. So do this. Get some help from somebody. If you're like, I'm not reaching my team, I don't know what to do, get feedback from your coach or somebody in your upline or another coach that you see that is successful. Get some help. Don't be too proud, because if you want this to last, if you want this to be a business, you have to call in all resources. If you're having problems with leadership, if you're having problems with connecting with people, if you're having problems with different areas, make your next book that you're doing for personal development that something that hinges on that area. Don't just read the latest book that all the coaches are reading because you think that that's good, because you maybe should be focusing on an area that you seem to be struggling at, or more than anything, build the things that you're strong on and work hard with that. Just the thing is, don't give up. Try different approaches. The same thing goes for social media. People are like, I post all day long and nobody says anything. I'm like, go back and look at your news feed. If you got 500 likes on this one and only one on all the other ones, kind of formulate what you were doing that got 500 likes and stop doing the stuff that got 1 like or no likes. So you have to think outside the box. Just because something didn't work doesn't mean you're a failure. We did a call the other night with Carl Deichler. And that's one thing he said. People who see me as a CEO think that I'm super successful. I'm a person just like you. I get up in the morning. I take care of my kids. My kids don't always cooperate. I go to work. There's some days I have to find the motivation. I've created lots of things in this business that didn't work. And I still keep going. And so this is what I tell you. It's like, this is new. I think a lot of people expect to end up like these superstar diamonds in the first year of their business. I mean, I guess you could do it if you're working really hard, but just don't compare yourself to people. Set some goals, and follow successful people, because you're going to learn something from them. But also, don't let it defeat you. I've heard people before. It's like, look, oh my God, Christine Dwyer, Janelle Summers. They're like 15-star diamond in both their business centers. That's something that never happened to me. You have to understand that, number one, they've been doing this for several years, so they've had time to build this business. They've done lots of things that didn't work, that they've had to cast aside. They've had to reinvent and redo to find it does work. They've had to ask for help from other people because they're human and they struggle. And then another thing is that just because of who they are in this organization and their success they've had doesn't just make them attract all these rock stars. You have to understand that there's lots of things that they're doing in the background that you don't see. If you're only signing one coach a month, and then you're wondering why you don't have a working organization, and then you're like, oh my God, they're 15-star diamond in both business centers. Did you ever think that they maybe adding 20 coaches a month, and then it's inevitable with the law of numbers that they are going to turn a diamond out of there? I mean, you have to look at that. So don't compare yourself to somebody else, but then also do look up to them, because there's something that they may doing and some approach to maybe social media, or something that they're doing in their business, presentation to invite coaches that maybe you haven't been doing that will work to reach your audience. So, it's all about balance. But at the end of the day, it's just don't give up and work hard and be a leader, and don't be afraid to tell everybody what you expect them to do, and give them a time frame, because that will have them do something. It will give them something to work for, just like when we as coaches set goals and we put a deadline on it and we race to get to that point. Everybody else needs the same, and you also on the same thing have to show them and remind them that they should be doing the same thing for their team. So I hope some of this helped. If you have any questions, you're always, feel free to contact me, and I'll do my best to answer you with the knowledge that I have based on the experience that I've had as a coach for the last 21 months. Thank you so much.